third parties, stop what you're doing. Stop announcing things.
Please.
Come on, we have to get these videos out on the internet at some point in time and make some relevance of it. But thankfully, we're only about 3 days or so until actually 3 starts. We know there's actually quite a lot. We've actually alluded to at the very beginning of this series of videos. We have Bethesda with its own press conference, Square-Enix with its own press conference, Ubisoft and EA with their press conferences, and PC Games.
A 3-hour tour.
3-hour tour. So in this video, we're going to just run down a list of games that we've got us to the side of us right now to just talk about them very briefly, because we're going to probably talk about them in much larger format when we actually get to the impressions videos.
Again, as of right now, this is what we're going to talk about, because who knows what we announced within the given days.
Yep. So first things, let's just go down the list one game at a time. Fallout 4. It was announced 2 weeks ago. We'll have probably a full gameplay demo at Bethesda's event, because I don't know what they're going to announce. They have a full hour-long press conference, and they only have so many games. So I imagine a full breakdown.
Long playthrough.
A whole long demo of Fallout 4 will be shown, for sure. Then there's Doom. Doom 4, but it's Doom. It's not really Doom 4. It's like Doom 7.
I don't know what Doom it is. It's Doom.
It's a port of Doom 64. It was all a ruse. You've all been played. So that game is going to probably be pretty good. Looking at the teaser that we saw for 2 seconds, just a little bit teaser. Hopefully, it's not like Doom 3 where you don't have a gun and a bullet and a flashlight at the same time. Then there's Dishonored 2. Now, this hasn't been officially announced, but it's been pretty much hinted at quite heavily. I think a Dishonored 2 would be a pretty good way to continue that series.
As far as new franchises go, Dishonored was taken in a lot. People really liked it.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll see what happens to the new one, because what else could they do?
Well, yeah, they can do a lot more, I'm sure. If you just give it a sequel, they can go crazy with ideas. Then we have the possibility of a new Elder Scrolls game.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, the online game is just debuting on the console front. But yeah, you're right. It's very unlikely, that one. Then comes EA. Now, EA last year showed a lot of temp games. A lot of work in progress.
A lot of games, a lot of engines, not a lot of games.
Yes. So the first thing we think is we're finally going to see Criterion's IP fully announced with an actual name and actual game associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
They were showing a lot of like driving elements, like extreme sports.
Look at that engine.
Yeah. There wasn't much to the actual game itself, so I think it would be a great time now to see some actual game from that.
There's also a discussion of possibly a new Mass Effect. They've been hinting this out for a long time.
Mm-hmm. The BioWare stuff.
The BioWare, bringing forward a new Mass Effect. Is it a new trilogy? Is it a prequel? I don't know what's going on. No one does.
Then there was also a whole set of Star Wars games. We know Star Wars Battlefront is going to be shown. It's been announced and shown off to a number of people. But I also know, or rather suspect, that there's going to be more than just that game, Star Wars-wise.
Yeah, if you have the franchise Star Wars, you could just go at it. There's a ton of new avenues to take it. Yeah. Plus, any games that go in with the movie, which I think actually Battlefront is going to have some.
Yeah, it's going to have extra content for it, yeah. And I know Visceral might be working on a Star Wars game, and I think there's going to probably be another game as well. Even if it's a free-to-play game on your mobile device, it will be another game for Star Wars.
And one thing you'll definitely expect from EA this year is all those sports games are finally coming out.
Again.
Well, that last time they had the big engine announcement.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So this time they're gonna I think they had 6 games for sports that were just like, yeah, great engine. Look at the ball bounce when you play basketball.
No, I think it was like 3 or 4. But
well, this year we're gonna see all the sports come out with the engines finished.
All the sports.
All the sports,
with the exception of hockey and baseball.
Right. Well,
yeah.
Most of the sports.
You know, it's a sport they don't have games on? Parkour. But
that's true.
But thankfully, they're going to give us Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Yes, they actually gave the name for it.
Yeah, this was unveiled about yesterday, I think, and it's going to be a full reboot of the series.
Which is strange because it's the second game in the series, they couldn't think of a way to make it a sequel.
So in this case, we're probably going to see a full demo at their press conference. Yeah. That would be really awesome. And there's going to be Garden Warfare 2, not Peggle 2. No, Garden Warfare 2. Garden Warfare got quite a bit of notoriety. It's apparently pretty good third-person shooter with the Plants vs. Zombies franchise attached to it.
Maybe they'll have a single-player campaign.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Hopefully not exclusive to one platform holder for 6 months.
It might actually, I think they might actually do it based off of the second Plants vs. Zombies, which is all about time. So maybe they'll do the same thing with this one, different time periods, different environments.
Yeah, and speaking of multiplayer-focused games, there's going to be that Need for Speed reboot,
Yes.
which was announced a little bit ago as well. This one apparently requires an online connection, much like The Crew. So I'm not looking forward to its announcement and further analysis, but it's definitely going to be shown in full form at this E3.
Now Ubisoft.
Now Ubisoft, the last couple of years has been pretty decent overall. New IPs are being announced every year. And
Alicia
Tyler's there every year, so that's really nice. But there was a rumor that Zombie U was going to get ported to the PS4 and Xbox One. I'm not sure it's going to be this E3 though.
I think it's too early in development, if at all, because the way they just said, yeah, they're working on it. Like, I don't know if they really need to announce it now.
You know what they're going to announce? They've already announced it though. Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yes, the new Assassin's Creed game. Like history repeats itself every year. A new Assassin's Creed. So this one's probably going to be shown off at one of the other conferences.
Yeah.
Probably either Microsoft or Sony. Again, they'll probably have different segments. Probably multiplayer, one mode.
There's no multiplayer in this game. I've already destroyed your mind.
He has.
Yeah, they removed the multiplayer component from this game.
So this is just a single player campaign.
My understanding is yeah.
Okay,
So I don't think they're. I think they have a trailer here and then have it be playable elsewhere, unless they have special differences between the demos between
different
conferences.
areas, maybe different modes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We get to ride a boat this time again. But there's also the two Tom Clancy's games.
Yes.
First of all, there's Rainbow Six Siege, which is coming out this year. That was shown off as the unveiled game last E3.
And it's like blowing up walls
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
So that'll be interesting to see how it is. I'm pretty sure it's a single player campaign will be minimal. It's definitely a multiplayer team versus team operation. The other game that's much bigger on the single player campaign concept is The Division.
Yeah, Division. That's the one with the cool holograms and everything.
The cool hologram, yes, the one with the virus and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
it's been going on for like 2 years. I think they've been working on this game.
Yeah, that was shown off 2 E3s ago.
Yeah, so it's
been
quite a
big.
while ago.
Yes, but I think it's about time to see the game out and about. It should be out early next year, my understanding is, so that would be nice. Now, 3 years ago, we also got to see the unveiling of another IP, Watch Dogs.
Yes.
So the question is, will we see a Watch Dogs 2 trailer this year?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of frustration with that game because it got very generic and frustrations like that. Hopefully they'll take it and make a much better experience because if you haven't seen the trends with Ubisoft, they do very well at E3 with visuals and presentations, but when the game finally comes out, there's issues. Hopefully this time, what we see for any kind of teaser for Watch Dogs 2 is what we actually get when we play it.
Yeah, and I would put my chances about 40% right now that we'll see a Watch Dogs 2 trailer because we know that Watch Dogs 2 is in development, probably to come out next year, late next year. They probably want to focus more on another thing, their new IP. Every year they have a new IP or a new game announcement, and there's one apparently dubbed Hero, which
It's Rayman.
It's not Raymond. It's Raymond. It's not Beyond Good and Evil either, by the way. It's a new IP.
Okay.
No information has been really disclosed. There's been some leaked artwork and such, and people have been saying that this is a game that's being developed in the back end. It's going to be a new IP, and that's really all I have to go for. So I'm kind of shooting this in the dark. But knowing how the last 3 E3s have been for Ubisoft, there's certainly going to be a new announcement at the end. And the president of Ubisoft will be the person to announce it.
Yes, this is, again, following the trends.
And then we follow through with Square-Enix.
Yeah, this is their first time doing a conference on their own. They actually were going to do it at the same time as Nintendo, but then they delayed it.
They're like, guys,
uh-oh,
let's
not do that. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, so I think this one's going to be more focused on the Eidos side of things rather than on the actual Japanese Square Enix side of things, for better or for worse. So for one, I think we're going to see Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Yes, they've already seen some flyers being posted around the convention center for this game, so clearly they want this game to be a big focus.
Yeah, so expect a demo of that to be during their press conference. And on top of that, expect to see a look at Just Cause 3, which was announced about 4 or 5 months ago on Game Informer. So expect some fun with that. Just Cause is about as open world explosion fun times as you can have in a realistic setting. There was a brief moment of concern that there might have been a free-to-play element added to it, but this time I think they already told everyone that was just an experiment. It's not going to happen.
You know, it's also an experiment. Segue. Hitman.
Oh man!
Now it's been a long time since we saw the last Hitman.
Yeah.
And there's also a movie. You have to figure that as a movie in development.
wants to see a movie.
Well, there's a movie of it, so maybe they're going to make it based on the movie, or at least they're going to try to release it at the same time as the movie.
I do think a new Hitman is expected. It's been a while since that team has come out with a game, and so I think it's about time to show some.
And there's also the teaser we've all been waiting for with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yes, I was actually going to mention Final Fantasy 15. I've lost count. But they went on record to say it's not going to be at E3.
If it does show up at E3, they're liars.
Liars! But Kingdom Hearts 3, that game is still in development in the small sorts. But I do think that if we're not going to see one of those big games, we're going to see the other. It's a matter of how much we're going to see. It's probably another teaser with like a short vignette of lots and lots of Heartless.
If you follow Kingdom Hearts, please help explain it to me, because all I know is everybody's Sora.
Everybody's Sora.
That's what I've heard.
Apparently, we were Sora at one point. You know, Ellie, we really are Sora. And on top of that, I also think we might see a new revived Square-Enix IP. Now, one of the big
Secret of Mana.
Don't push your luck. I do know that Square-Enix has been trying to push having this new crowdfunding campaign set up for a while now, trying to get developers to pitch games to the populace and then actually help fund it. We haven't really seen any game stick out from Square-Enix that I've noticed, and I think it would be a good time as ever to make announcements of the sort. And no, Dragon Quest is not among the games coming out, other than Dragon Quest Heroes. Dragon Quest Heroes is going to be shown off because it is coming out in October on the PS4 in America. It's probably going to be in Sony's press conference, though.
Yep.
And then we finalize our run through of just a few other game announcements that come to our mind. First thing I see is XCOM 2. Which is from 2K Games. XCOM was Enemy Unknown was a pretty solid game experience as opposed to XCOM Declassified, which is much worse. And then there was also Battleborn, which is being published by 2K, but being worked on by Gearbox Software. MOBA. Everything is a MOBA.
Everything's a MOBA, but
or Team Fortress.
Or third-person shooter, like with Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7 might happen. We did see Revelations 2 out earlier this year, though, so if it does come out or get announced, it's going to be like a teaser trailer. Right?
And anything also from a Mega Man standpoint, because we're talking about Capcom briefly, there's some speculation that they're trying to bring back Mega Man. The Mega Man Legacy Collection was announced recently, and also they have a new producer or director controlling the Mega Man franchise now. So people are now speculating that maybe there's going to be a new Mega Man, especially as there's rumors of a new cartoon series.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a new Mega Man in the works, but if anything, it's going to be a teaser.
Yeah, and speaking of Mega Man and moving on to the other blue characters, Sonic does have a game that was announced. I was going to actually say no Sonic game this year, but they beat it to the punch. There's a new Sonic Boom game. Sorry guys, the game did well enough.
Not the Wii U version.
No, there's no Wii U version this time around. Maybe they'll actually just let it go back in the drawing board and let that one stew a bit longer. Yeah, Sega is not laying back on the Sonic content.
Sonic Boom Fire and Ice?
Yes, Fire and Ice.
It's a sequel to the Crystals game.
And speaking of, we mentioned Mega Man a moment ago. Mighty Number 9 will probably be at E3.
Yes,
and they already have a trailer and a beta demo for Shantae, which is another Kickstarter-based game that's doing pretty well for itself. So we're getting a lot of Kickstarter games in the mix. We're probably going to get a number of PC Kickstarter-based games on at the AMD event.
Yes.
So that's something to see.
If you watch that whole 3-hour thing.
If you watch the 3-hour thing. Tekken 7, I'm not sure if it's going to be at E3, but I'm just,
we're just throwing things out there. This one pretty much has been confirmed.
Yes.
Dark Souls 3.
Yes, Dark Souls 3.
There was leaked screenshots. Apparently, I think IGN talked about it recently.
IGN was like, hey, we got this artwork. It's definitely Dark Souls 3. It's coming out.
Now, I'm speculating it's going to be at the Sony conference, but if not, here it is.
Yeah, there's Bloodborne. Bloodborne probably has DLC coming out, so expect some DLC.
Yeah, the DLC is called Dark Souls 3. You're going to go out the store and buy it when it comes out.
Oh, it's a physical DLC. That's in a complete separate game. It has complete separate saves and stuff.
And the other thing we think we see a lot of is virtual reality, virtual reality, virtual reality.
Yeah, with the Oculus Rift Oculus having its press conference like tomorrow, isn't it?
I don't even know.
But we know there's going to be a lot of contenders for virtual reality content.
Project Morpheus.
With Project Morpheus from Sony, and we know that HoloLens is there in some fashion, though at the same time I'm not convinced it's going to be there. Oh my gosh, Nintendo doesn't bring out a virtual reality headset. It doesn't need it.
Everything's virtual reality.
But I do think that we're going to see some more announcements of virtual reality games, or at least games that are emphasizing virtual reality as a method of camera work. So expect to see a lot of that going on. And, oh, I forgot all about it. Metal Gear Solid, The Phantom Pain. We already discussed this. It's probably going to be in Microsoft or Sony's press conference as a major focus.
Yeah, because Konami's been very cut back from doing much in any way of
apparently, last year, their booth was literally just a line to watch a looping trailer of Metal Gear Solid, The Phantom Pain. So, I don't think there's going to be much to look forward to from them.
I can tell that's going to be the case.
That concludes the list of all the third-party games and all that we have available to us. We probably missed about 30 dozen of them.
Some of them probably just got announced right now.
Probably 2 of them at the very least. So given that, knowing all the games we've discussed between all the manufacturers and developers, what do you think this E3 is going to be like before we even step foot?
Well, from sitting on the outside looking in, I'm scared. I'm scared. There's a lot of conferences coming up, and I'm concerned about just sitting down and watching them, or just the fact that so much information is going to just flow in, and we're like, what's going on?
Yeah, five conferences was quite a lot. Moving up to 8, I don't know, and one of them being
3 hours.
3 hours long.
You know, as we keep this pattern of us talking about that 3-hour conference,
yeah,
we're gonna be tired.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of information. I probably wish I got a few more days off in the week. Yeah, but given that, it's gonna be fun. I do have concerns for each of them. Microsoft, I'm afraid they might focus too much on certain IPs or try to diversify too much. Sony, I'm not sure about our predictions. We're very positive thinking about what could be announced from a first-party perspective. And Nintendo, we're afraid that it's definitely focusing a lot more on Amiibo than it should, as well as the lack of brand new game content announcements. So given all that, I'm still rather optimistic.
Well, it's better to be optimistic, but always have a pessimistic view on that.
Yeah, I'm pessimistic about my optimism. I think that's the best way to live through life.
So we look forward to see what happens at E3.
Yeah, so if you wanted to see any of the previous videos, check out any of the links that we have here to go to any of the major 3 corporations that we didn't talk about before with the manufacturers of Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. They're here. And stay tuned. We'll be having our impressions, starting with Bethesda's, running through all of them, which will probably come about by the end of the week, as opposed to in the middle of the week. And Tony's dead, so I guess I'll be by myself doing it. I killed him, by the way, in case you wanted to know. No, I didn't kill him. He's still alive. He'll wake up in about 30 hours or so after. Oh, he's alive. He's a zombie now.
E3. Put me in cryogenic sleep.
Are you a zombie 3?
No.
Oh. This is awkward.